Welcome to today's episode, and I wanted to share with you such an interesting experience that I've had today. So, for the past few days, I've been eating a bit not my normal foods because there was the engagement dinner, there was the surprise baby shower, so there was lots more of sugar things like cakes and just a lot more of the less healthy versions of foods that I would eat. But I don't restrict myself, and whenever there is a special occasion, I would just go with the flow and have those foods. But now, a couple of days later, I started feeling the effects of the foods on my state. And what I mean by that is not only emotionally, because emotionally I felt a bit more crying like and a bit more emotional, and little things would upset me more, so I felt way more easy to cry. But that's fine. I already was aware of that pattern that occurs, so I knew, oh, okay, I've eaten this food, so this is why I'm feeling that way. But what was even more interesting is that I have certain thought patterns, certain stories that I tell myself whenever I'm in that negative or under the influence of those foods or not in the best state, and they can trap me. But the funniest thing is it's the same story. It's the same stories that I start telling myself, and this time, for the first time, I actually recognized it. I was like, wait a second, this insecurity or this story comes back every time I have eaten something and my state is off and I don't feel fully myself, and I have this story and I tell it to myself. But this time I recognize it and I decided not to believe it. I decided for it not to let it upset me or make me emotional. I just decided, okay, there's this story that's happening right now. Most probably it's driven a lot by my state and how I feel. I don't have to believe every thought I have. And let's see if I still feel like that in a few days. In a few hours, I already did not feel like that. After eating a very healthy meal, relaxing, having lots of water, I felt completely fine. And I always thought, how crazy is that sometimes we would do something that it would affect our state. For example, not get enough of good sleep, eat some crappy food, etc. Lots of stress. And then we would start telling ourselves some stories, some negative stories, our insecurities will come up, and we will actually believe them. And that would also affect how we feel afterwards about ourselves, and we would enter this negative loop instead of saying, wait a second, I don't have to believe every thought I have. I don't have to follow the same story over and over again. Maybe there is a certain pattern that's happening over there once I'm in that weaker state. And let's see if I still feel like that in a few days. A few days after I've got a good sleep, I'm in a better mood, I'm in a better state. Do I still believe that story? Do I still feel that insecurity? And see how much power is it in it, because I could not believe it myself. I could not believe that literally in a few hours, my insecurity and that negative story was completely gone. I didn't believe it anymore. Crazy how food and our state can affect the story that we tell ourselves, and that affects how we feel, and that affects our lives. Hope with this episode, you'll watch out for those stories, you'll watch out for those patterns, and you will be more aware of your state so that you can control your life and not let those negative states control it instead of you. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. I hope it helps you, and I really hope to see you in tomorrow's episode.